Just crossing my fingers.
Yeah, it's open.
All right.
It's up for me. Just
Yeah,
no
me too.
faces. There's the faces.
Yeah, that's another weird thing is I have to have all the windows minimized because if I click off of the Discord webcams, then it'll be all weird on the thing. I don't know. It's odd. Anyways, hello everyone. Thank you all for joining. Hello everyone in the chat. We started a couple minutes late. I apologize. This is Hylian Gamescast, episode 191. We're going to be talking a lot about Tears of the Kingdom, some theories that we may have, some of our favorite parts of the trailers. We're going to be ending with the Q&A with all of you, and some of you can join on Kahoot for our trivia, multiple choice questions, see who ends up winning. It's 10 questions. You get about 20 seconds to answer each question, so the whole segment lasts about 10 minutes, and it's really fun. And luckily, Daniel's not here to just completely destroy everybody in trivia, so I'm looking forward to seeing how well it goes. And it's all Breath of the Wild based as well, so kind of goes with the theme of the day. Of course, going around, Geek Apprentice, why don't you start to introduce yourself for those who, for some reason, may not know who you are?
Most don't know me. That's fine. I'm the Geek Apprentice. I'm here on YouTube. I make geeky YouTube videos and actually just finished a live stream of Ocarina of Time. Had to stop right before Ganondorf, but I think that's good. I'm going to do Ganondorf and Calamity Ganon next week.
We have Lorulian Historian here. Can you let everyone know how they may or may not know you?
Yeah, so Lorulian Historian, or Lore here. I've been part of the community now for a few years, at least more active since Breath of the Wild released. And I provide lore, translations from Japanese. I do proofreading. I have a YouTube channel. It's been kind of dead for a few years. I've been focusing on other things in my life, but still a lot of fun and happy to be here.
All right. It's great having you back on again. And Triforce Trends, for those who may not know, can you tell them a little bit about yourself?
I'm a guy. No, I do Zelda content. I'm nowhere near as knowledgeable as Lorulian Historian, sorry. But, dude, I know Hyrule Gamer literally came to you, like, not even that long ago. He was talking to me about it. But, I don't pride myself on my knowledge, but I like to hope people are entertained by the videos.
Absolutely.
And
we absolutely are, man.
Finally, we have MikeOdyssey. I think this is your first time as well being on here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad, man, because I feel alone. Everybody here is like doctors of lore. I'm like, I'm glad that I'm not alone here. You know, me, I'm the fan. I'm a Nintendo fan. I've been a YouTuber 3 years now, and I am the Zelda noob, right? I played Breath of the Wild is I would say technically my introduction to the Legend of Zelda. I played it 7 times already, beat it twice in master mode. That game made me go back and research the other ones. So far I've only been in Link's Awakening, Link to the Past. The very first Zelda when it came out in the 80s. I'm giving out my age. Okay, I'm giving out my age. But yeah, I've been a Nintendo fan all my life. My dad gave me my NES for the first time when I was 9 years old. Ever since, you can see behind me, I'm Nintendo everything. So, yeah,
it's awesome.
I'm a noob. In other words, I'm a noob. So.
I wouldn't call you a noob. There's a lot of people out there that have only played Breath of the Wild and they're just super knowledgeable in Breath of the Wild, but
I'm not
really caught up on any of the other stuff.
I call the spider mechanical things, and then I call there's a spider mechanical things. There's Baby Ganon 1, Baby Ganon 2, Baby Ganon 3, Baby Ganon 4. There's Super Ganon, and I just defeated Super Baby Ganon. And in the chat knows, some people in the chat knows, about my Baby Ganon theories. And I've named every single thing in Breath of the Wild away from its proper name. So that's how I remember stuff.
I think that's partly to blame for Nintendo calling snakes ropes and bats keys and everything. So
My mom does the same thing. She literally calls whiz robes whiz bangs.
All right.
I like
why don't we go ahead and start off with you, Triforce Trivia. What were your overall thoughts when you first seen this new Tears of the Kingdom trailer? I said Triforce Trivia. I'm sorry, Triforce Trivia.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's cool.
I got the trivia questions pulled up here, making sure I have the right answers filled in.
Just screwed you up. It's all good. Honestly, obviously we're a week removed now, and I can't really, you can't really judge something that close after it's been released. Not even a game, not a trailer, nothing like that. But I'd say personally, it's my favorite video game trailer after like watching it probably about 50 times for video purposes. But I think it showed off so much while not giving any context to anything. I loved it. Yeah, I really like the trailer. I think it showed off a lot. Some of the story stuff, some of the story beats that we're probably going to go through, they're just fun. They're different. It's different to Breath of the Wild. It looks story-wise better than Breath of the Wild. In most aspects, better than Breath of the Wild, which would already be so hard to top, considering how good Breath of the Wild was. But yeah, I thought the trailer itself was great.
Do you have any initial theories coming off the trailer? Like, there's a lot of people that even completely flip-flopped from... I'm sure you've seen a lot of people online being like, oh, this just looks like DLC for Breath of the Wild. It's not going to be that much different. And then they're like, oh, this trailer changed my mind completely. And then they're all coming up with their own theories and stuff. Do you have your own theory based off the trailer, or any ideas or concepts that you've seen that you would like to play out in a certain way?
Well, I'm definitely hoping for underwater exploration, but there's some little hints to it, little tiny hints. Just Link in a bubble, Link seeing a whirlpool, and it's just like, oh look, all this stuff is so cool. Better hope for underwater stuff, or at least one underwater dungeon. I'd take that. But above that though, there's all the time travel theories, which, to be honest, I haven't moved into myself yet. I've not really looked into it too much. I think I saw NBC's big thread about it, and I was really I looked at the first two, but then I was like, I need to get back on my video, and I'll do this another day. So I don't really have much thoughts there. I don't think that it's demise, personally. Ganondorf demise theory. That's pretty much it, I think.
All right. And Mike, do you have any theories that you have based off the trailer?
Well, my theory is that the game is well, it's not even much a theory, it's more like an opinion. But it just makes me believe that everything is on the line. Like the trailers that they presented are edited in such a way that makes you feel that suspense. Okay, I gotta get there before they take it over everything. Come on, Tears of the Kingdom, come out already, so I can start fighting. And then seeing all these characters fight together. I'm not sure how it's gonna happen. How they're gonna fight together. Am I gonna control that character and then the other, like Sidon was fighting next to Link? How is that gonna happen? Am I gonna be in control? Is that just a cutscene? I hope that there's more to that, like a little bit for what do you call that other game? The one where everybody fights together.
Age of Clams?
Age of Calamity.
Is it Age of Calamity? Yeah, the Warriors, right? In the world.
Yeah, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity.
Is it gonna be like that where I'm fighting over here? I know that Zidane is fighting over here. I can join him over there and just continue fighting. Will we have that kind of intensity? But right now, it just feels like everything is on the line. This is it. We heal Zelda said, I don't know if you can do it. That makes me more excited because I really want to do it, So, it just gives me that vibe. And this last trailer just put it over the top. So,
Yeah,
can't wait.
With the NPCs fighting alongside you, it seems like that was something that they kind of wanted to do on Breath of the Wild, and then maybe they were just limited by the Wii U, because there are situations in the game to where you have to go and save an NPC, and sometimes you'll see them try to hit back or something, or mostly they're just trying to cower and run away or whatever, or they're just on the ground getting hit, and you have to go and save them. And it seems like they wanted to do something like that to where they would fight back, or there'd be a big group of them fighting back with you, but the Wii U and even on the Switch with Breath of the Wild, especially when it first released, already had so many slowdowns and everything that maybe it could have been possible on the Switch, but not so much on the Wii U. Who knows? But before we get to Lorulian, we have a $5 super chat from Taker610 that says, Nintendo took the story criticisms of Breath of the Wild and kicked it up to 11. I think we have 4 dungeons on the ground to replace the beasts and more in the sky. Yeah, I would say there's at least some, hopefully, on the ground. I hope the Hyrule itself on the ground isn't just bare without any real dungeons or temples or dungeon-like areas. I know some people don't like to call the divine beasts actual dungeons, but something akin to that. I hope there are still some on the ground. But yeah, Lorulian, what were your initial thoughts on the trailer and maybe a theory that you might have coming out of it?
Well, so first off, I'm gonna say I was very against the idea of time travel in another Zelda game because it's happened in so many. You've got it in Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Time, Oracle of Ages. You know, it's almost a trope at this point. But with what we've seen from the latest trailer, I'm really questioning that original thought of it's not there. It definitely seems like there's something up there. Absolutely excited to learn more about the ZOEY because, as most of you might know, I'm a big ZOEY fanatic. One of the first ZOEY videos created on YouTube was my own personal speculation about the tribe. So I'm excited to learn more about what's going on there because even if it's like some sort of memory cutscenes or whatnot, we're going to learn about the origins of Calamity Ganon from his human form. Absolutely, I believe that 100%, and I believe the ZOEY were involved with that battle. So I'm very excited to learn more about that. So time travel definitely is on the table, as crazy as that sounds for me, but it's definitely there. For Triforce trends, absolutely underwater exploration seems like it's been kind of hinted at. It's not confirmed, but definitely hinted at, and I like that. Dungeons, absolutely. We see a couple of them in the latest trailer. I mean, this structure rising out of the Gerudo Desert, somewhere just outside of Arbiter's grounds in Dragon's Exile. The one under Death Mountain, by the looks of it, there's like lava all around it. So there's definitely going to be some big exploration going on in things other than the divine beasts, which have also just completely disappeared with all of the other Sheikah tech, except for some makeshift towers by the looks of it, and a new Sheikah slate, which, I don't know, looks like Purah might have been behind that one. It's got her, her designs, her flair on it. So excited to see what happened there and what's going on there.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'd never noticed the Purah thing, but yeah, I think there's definitely more going on. And as you also agreed with the underwater exploration, that's something that I hope is in this. Whenever they released Breath of the Wild and it was missing underwater exploration and some of the other stuff that you would expect in a Zelda game, my first thought was, well, if they put everything into Breath of the Wild and it was a 10 out of 10, then it would be really hard to follow up on, especially if you're doing a direct sequel. So maybe they purposefully left it out, and just so they could have a way to be like, okay, well, how can we make the sequel different? And you just purposefully hold something back that you know people want. That way you can include it in the sequel to kind of give it something unique of its own. Because if you put absolutely everything into the original, then what are you going to do? Like if it had divine beasts, traditional dungeon or traditional temple themed dungeons or whatever, then it would have been, I imagine, much harder for them to come up with ideas for Tears of the Kingdom to make it feel like it was standing on its own and not just a copy paste with slight differences. Geek, what were your initial thoughts, and do you have your own theory coming out of the new trailer?
Intense anticipation. So intense. It's interesting. I've heard a lot of people say that, and not in a bad way, but saying how they knew they were going to get Tears of the Kingdom, but they were still hesitant. And then they saw the final trailer and they were like, whoa, I didn't want that much information. I just wanted a little bit more to convince me. But no matter how many times I watched the trailer, and it's the same for any of them, but especially this one, I felt like we got a lot of new information, a lot more confirmed information. And yet at the same time, there's still so many things that I'm like, what does that mean? What is that hinting to? Does that mean this? Or am I misinterpreting that? And I definitely was too quick on some of my theories, because there was one that I was so sure that female that looked like a darker skinned Zelda was just like a ZOEY form of her, or like the old Zelda from 10,000 years ago. And then that new image came out that showed her next to the male ZOEY creature, and I was like, she looks a lot less Zelda-like now. And I said I was like 80% sure of my theory, and now I'm wrong, which is not a bad thing. As far as any other like actual theories, I don't have any. I'm in this weird in-between point right now where I still haven't watched anyone else's video. The first one I've watched was Daniel's video today, which was 9 things we learned that were not from the trailer. Like I haven't watched anyone's analysis, anything like that, because I'm always afraid that I will be subconsciously taking stuff from other creators and imposing it as my own. I don't know if that makes sense. Being like, we learned this from the trailer and making it sound like it was mine, and not realizing, no, you didn't notice that until you saw someone else, like at least give credit. So I try to get all of my thoughts out before I watch other creators, but now I'm like, I still have a couple of ideas, but now there's already so many videos out that I'm like, just watch them. Don't worry about making all this crazy content. Watch them all and then see if your ideas are still there. Not in the sense of like, I feel inferior. I mean, sometimes I do, but I just want to watch others' content. So I don't have any like theory ideas right now. I have like thoughts that are like, oh, I'm noticing the tears are in more places. Like it wasn't until someone pointed out that like Riju has a tear in her earring, that Sidon has one on his hand. And then I noticed recently that there was a red one in the stone on Ganondorf's head. And I'm like, I think I'm too exhausted in trying to pack too much to come up with theories. So probably no theories, just I need to watch everyone else's because I love watching everyone's videos, but I've been holding off and I don't want to anymore. I have one more video coming out, but it's just a list of questions I have.
All right, going back to trends on the topic of the tiers and Ganondorf. What do you think Ganondorf's like his quest in this game is going to be? Like in Ocarina of Time, he goes around like causing havoc to all the different places, like one at a time. Like he goes to Kokiri Forest and like blocks the Dodongo Cavern and everything, and he kind of has like his own quest that he's going on to try to manipulate Link into opening up the Door of Time or whatever. In this, what do you think it is, and what do you think the purpose of the tiers that we see? I can't believe it almost left my head, the name for it. Yeah, the tiers. What purpose do you think they have, and what do you think Ganondorf's going to be doing while Link's on his own quest? Is he just going to be standing there posing for everyone to take selfies with, like I'm sure half the audience is wanting, or is he going to be doing his own thing? Like if he breaks free close to the beginning of the game, how's he going to spend the rest? Is he just going to be playing piano like he does when you're adult Link in Ocarina of Time? Or yeah, is he gonna, because I think on the newest artwork they released, we can see like places on his necklace where you could possibly put other tiers, and are they, yeah, so your thoughts on that, and then we'll go around, everyone can give their thoughts on that as well.
My thoughts at the minute, to be honest, I'm quite outspoken about this, but I also haven't really like looked into it too much. So I'm kind of like Geek Apprentice in that I don't want to watch other people's analyses just in case I steal stuff. So then, but the problem with that when you're doing like weekly videos as well is that people go, yeah, but you missed this and this and this, and you're like, yeah, I know, but I just didn't want to. I don't want to look at other people's stuff and then steal what they saw. But At the same time, it is kind of a collaborative effort going through trailers and stuff. But going back to Ganondorf anyway, and the tiers themselves, I think the possibility of them being like Infinity Stones, where it's like, you know, he needs to get all 7 of them, and it's like, whoa, this is so cool. I think that's a possibility. I definitely am not writing it off because it probably will happen. It's more like 50-50 for me, to be honest. But I definitely see Ganondorf's initial plan, where he's like, okay, so we screw up each race in a totally different way to the point where they can't like move elsewhere in the world for most of the races, not all of them. As an example, I think I saw a Zelda lore tweet on this, but the Gerudo, you've got, you know, Molduga hoods that it disables them from even being able to leave Gerudo Town, or as well sandstorms, sinkholes, little things like that. Plus, we have no clue what that temple in the desert is that was rising up. That I mean, I hope Sab's grounds. It probably isn't, but at the same time, could it? Like, you know, they've shown it in this trailer. Could it be where Ganondorf is actually sitting? That's where it actually is, rather than Hyrule Castle. Because Hyrule Castle again would be a little bit strange if it wasn't changed, like, you know, time travel. But never mind. So yeah, that's the Gerudo done. Kinda. There's probably more. The Rito as well. Obviously, there's a storm above them. We don't know what's happened to Teba. Teba's an interesting one. I'm pretty interested to see what happened to him. I don't think he's dead. I do feel like he's just the chieftain now. But yeah, Tulin will be a cool character as well. In general, I'm pretty excited to see Tulin. Such a cute. There's so many cute little lines in Breath of the Wild that harken back to him now, and it's like, oh, that was nice. Gorons, no lava. There's no lava whatsoever. I mean, there is underground, but yeah, whoa, no lava. Have 0 food after you've eaten all these other rocks. But then there's probably more with the Gorons. Yunobo's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into that, but Yunobo is an interesting one. I don't think that his weapon being in that shot means that it is Yunobo. I don't really see where it comes from. I can see it being Yunobo, but I don't think it confirms it is Yunobo, because it could just be it's a champion's weapon. Finally, as well, the Zora. There's way more, but those 4 in particular, those are the 4 big races. The Sheikah, I've got a video on those as well, so I can't really say much about that. But the Gorons, Zoras, sorry. I really like where they're going with that. I'm guessing you've seen the whole Sardon's got a crown in one shot. Sardon's not got a crown when he's fighting with Link. I would love to see the Zora King die. Not because I'm into, like, you know, seeing Zelda characters die, but just as from a story perspective, it would be such a nice way to round out Sardon's character. I legitimately think it would make Sardon go from, like, the comic relief character on Twitter where everyone's like, look, he's so cute and he's a fish, to like yeah, this is a genuinely really well-rounded character that had a good end in Tears of the Kingdom. Ganondorf himself, what's he going to do with the tears? I don't know. Is Link going to collect all the tears? And then, you know, Ganondorf takes all of them at the end of the game? I could see that. Maybe that's where the whole demise thing plays into it. Yeah, that's all I've got. That's all I've got.
All right, before we move on to Mike, we have 2 super chats. Everyone can jump on and answer this as well if they would like to. Eddie Torres for $9.99 says, thoughts on Zelda not reusing some iconic items and mechanics in the game, other than the Master Sword. Instead of reinventing the mechanics, I would like to see things like the Ocarina of Time to be used again. Yeah. You guys can't see it, but the color that it has as the background for the letters makes the letters blend in, and I could barely read that. But yeah. What's everyone's thoughts on bringing back old mechanics or items and stuff? Is there anything that anyone would like to see?
Like,
I'd like. Sorry. Yeah, go on.
Go ahead.
Okay. Time shift stones. I like time shift stones a lot.
Yes.
And that's like it's a better way to do time travel in my opinion for this sort of thing. But then again, if the story's leaning into it, maybe it's fine. But I think gameplay wise, it's a cool way to lean back into it. Mike, please take the stage.
No, I'm trying to understand the question. Well, like, let's see here, the mechanics. What mechanics we would like to see that are not, or they're not reusing mechanics from Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. So thoughts on Zelda not reusing some iconic items and mechanics in the games other than the Master Sword. So basically, thoughts on why they're not reusing a lot of things from Breath of the Wild in Tears of the Kingdom. Is that the kind of gist of the question?
Or just stuff from previous games in general.
Like in general, other Zelda games. Like, would you want the hook shot to come back?
I think now that the ZOEY are in, I think it all the gloves are on, and they are the biggest and baddest when it comes to technology. They're the go-to, and I think it's gonna be it's ZOEY focused. So even the Sheikah technology from Breath of the Wild is not gonna be as much of an impact in this game as it's as ZOEY are gonna be. So I just think it has to do with the story itself. That what technology is being used, what weapons are gonna be used. I think it has to do all with what's going on at the moment and what's driving the story forward. So yeah, I mean, once you get there, you'll understand a little more. But I think it's because of the story itself that's driving something forward. That there's some technology that's being lifted up more than others. It's not that they're not there, but it's just that it's not part of the narrative.
All right, and Lorulian, do you have any thoughts on this or anything that you would like to see come back?
I mean, there's a lot that I would love to see. I mean, there's things that you enjoy about every Zelda game, but a lot of the items and mechanics that you do enjoy in certain Zelda games are usually specific to those games.
Yeah.
Like there's some overall motifs and themes, and sometimes you might like not just the Master Sword, but like you might see the hook shot in a couple of different Zelda games, or you might see the gust bellows or something similar, but it usually has something to do with what's going on in those games. You don't just have like everything available just to have it available. There's usually gimmicks to each game. So yeah, we might not have the hook shot in this game, but we've got a freaking rocket you can strap onto a shield and fly up into the sky. Right? I mean, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be epic. So I'm just excited for the ride. I want to see what's there, and I want to see what I can make.
The sky's the limit.
All right, and
absolutely.
Or is it?
You mentioned you'd also like to see the time shift stones, but is there anything else that you would like to see?
Not specifically. Like, as much as I love a lot of the items from previous Zelda games, Breath of the Wild was meant to break a lot of the classic Zelda conventions while still being a Zelda game. So I think the point about like, well, those mechanics only fit for certain games still stands. It'd be like someone saying, I wish we could turn into Wolf Link again. It's like, well, that was very specific to Twilight Princess, and it had a very specific place and purpose. It'd be kind of weird to just throw that in. I mean, you did have Wolf Link in through the amiibo in Breath of the Wild, but it wasn't the same function as Twilight Princess, and it was kind of just like an extra. So there's nothing that I'm like, oh, I definitely want to see that come back, because I recognize just how different these games are supposed to be. And I use this argument all the time, and I know it's kind of a cop-out, but I trust Nintendo, whatever choice they've made. There has yet to be a really big Zelda game that I genuinely disliked. Like, I may not have gotten into Twilight Princess, but I still recognize it's an excellent game. I don't know if that makes sense.
I can't wait to start playing it.
All right, and a couple more super chats. I do not know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. Javon Perry says, I hope Minish show up. And then a $4.99 super chat from Unknown Geometry. What is the first thing you will do once you are free to leave the starter Sky Islands? Yes, that was another thing that people had found on, I think it was the Japanese website, was that it mentioned that the starting areas will be up, or you'll start out in the sky areas or whatever. What are your thoughts on that going around again? If anyone has anything to say for it. Sorry,
so
what was
Link,
that, Mike?
I'm saying shocking. Link will wake up. from sleeping. That happens every single game. When has not been a game
pretty
where
much.
So
pretty much.
Link will wake up once again in the Sky Islands, and I think it's kind of obvious because when we saw the gameplay trailer, right? We saw that Link's already had some sort of he had already first thing he was in the sky, then he had some abilities already. So according to what we read on the website, and putting that together, it looks like we wake up in the Sky Islands. We have to first. I don't know if it's some dungeons or some trials or whatever you do there to acquire certain abilities that will help you then go and then explore the rest of the terrain and on the ground. But yeah, we do start in the Sky Islands, and then you have to get some abilities and then go down to the terrain. So I guess that's like the what do you call it? The Great Plateau kind of area, training kind of tutorial area. Yeah. So I mean, that's already out there. Not saying anything I shouldn't, but it's already out there. Stuff, right?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, getting back to the your turn on the actual discussion topic. What are your thoughts on Ganondorf and going around doing whatever Ganondorf does, and the different tiers that we see throughout the trailer?
Me?
Yeah. Because that was the original question before we went to the super chats.
So I think Ganondorf in other games that I've heard of, and I've obviously looked at a whole bunch of videos just to make sure that I got the right what Ganondorf's mission was. I think this time he's just unleashed. He's like just completely unleashed, and he's out to destroy, and he's out to cause as much damage as you can, and and just prevent something from happening. Because I think that something happened in the beginning, that was in favor of what he wanted to happen. And so he's now in the position of literally trying to destroy as many places as he can to prevent something from happening. And that's where I feel like he's going this time. I think he's just, I don't know how he went from being a skeleton to ripped in those images right there, right? He must have woke, time passed. He was like, just, oh yeah, the tire or something like that. I don't know, he's now ripped with his sword, samurai sword and everything. He's just, man, he's out to get you, and you better get out of the way. So you can tell when in the trailer he tells his minions, just go out there and destroy. Just destroy. It's not like, oh, go find this or go find Link or go out there and destroy as much as you can, and that's it. Just that's what he's doing. He wants to destroy as much as he can. I think, in my opinion, to prevent something from happening.
All right, and what about you, Lou?
Me? Oh, jeez.
Is Ganondorf going to be locked in his room playing piano the whole time?
No, absolutely not.
The Bowser song?
He's going to be singing his own Bowser song for Zelda.
Yeah.
No. So Ganon he's a complicated character. He has some pretty basic desires. He wants to rule the world. He's always wanted to rule the world. Now, that doesn't mean sunshine and rainbows. It usually means destroying what's already there and building up from the ashes his ideal world, right? And Hyrule has stood in his way for a really long time. The royal family has stood in his way time and time again. The hero has stood in his way time and time again. I think he's done with it. It's been tens of thousands of years now. He absolutely, like Mike said, he just wants to level the playing field entirely, and he is out there full force. Gathering these tiers, they seem to have sacred abilities, sacred power to them. Maybe they are kind of like an Infinity Stone. Maybe you have to assemble them all, and you might be able to call down the Triforce or call down the gods or something. And he's just trying to hijack that process. But I'm not entirely sure yet. We don't really know much about their relationship, right? The overall meaning or importance behind them. We know they're important, but we don't know how important they are, right? And that's the other thing. We have no idea where the Triforce is. I mean, most people believe that Zelda had it in Breath of the Wild, but it's still a point of contention. Not everyone agrees with that. So is he gonna, if she does have it, is he gonna try to steal it from her? Has he already stolen it from her? Like, we don't know. We don't know. There's so many things that I really hope this game covers. That it's not just throwing stuff at a wall and hoping to see what sticks, and they only give us like a half-ass explanation for it. I hope they dive into it and we get some answers.
Mhm.
All right, and before we move on to Geek, let me get back to the super chats. Taker610 says a couple of bottles of Ganonade and he's back to normal. I think that was in reference to Mike. And then Mohammed says appreciation moment for the saxophone music, please. Yeah, there's a lot of people that I've seen in comments talking about the saxophone being in the music. And then one that we skipped over, Zanzaroon said 𝗙cie𝗹𝗹𝗪 is the best part of the Zelda series. So Geek, do you have any thoughts on Ganon or the tears?
Yes, which also I just have to say that Keith's eyeball fusing ability is going to save my butt multiple times. Even with gyro, I still can't.
I disagree. I think the pork chop will. If you fuse the pork chop with an arrow, throw away at some goblins, just let them, and then follow with the bomb, you'll be golden.
I just want to know what meat attaching is going to do. What is this?
Because they all run towards the meat.
Yeah.
Like if you throw food at all the bokoblins, because you can usually find them at a campfire roasting a pig or whatever.
Yeah.
I just like throwing remote bombs at them and seeing them explode multiple times. That's how my mom and I defeat enemies. That's what we do.
Yeah.
But as far as Ganondorf goes, I'm hoping it's so hard because part of me is like gets really hesitant to say my theories because I'm like, what if I'm wrong? And then I'm like, what does it matter if I'm wrong? Not like I'm going to be like, Nintendo was wrong. My theory should have been the one that was part of the game. But my thoughts right now is that Ganondorf's storyline is going to be hopefully the heftiest it's ever been. Because so far he's always had like a pretty decent story. Whether it was him in Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, or Wind Waker, I always felt like he had a pretty decent, not like good motives, but like he had a motive that wasn't just like Bowser wants to steal Princess Peach, right? You know, there's always something a little bit more to Ganondorf. But my curiosity is how much are we going to see this transition? Is it going to be that he's dehydrated and then suddenly he comes back and after like a couple of cutscenes he's fully back? Or is this going to be something we see throughout the game? And as we progress, we see him progress, which is what I'm hoping for. And my guess right now is that moment in the final trailer where he says, "Don't look away, you witness a king's revival." And that's when he has I'm assuming the stone, the stone. Now I'm thinking about Avengers. It's so relatable though. He has the tear in his forehead. I'm wondering if that's a moment where like you've been fighting against him this whole time, trying to thwart his attempts of divide and conquer, because the races, I agree, all this, he's trying to have something happen to all the races so that they can't help Link and they can't help Zelda because they're so worried about their own people. Again, divide and conquer. And something's going to happen and Link's going to finally get to him. And it's going to be one of those, he got to that tier before Link did. And now it's almost like a whole second jump in the game, like extremely long. What I'm hoping for. This is a huge moment. I don't know if I'll be able to finish the game. I'm so bad at beating bosses, but that's my guess right now, is that scene takes place when Link was trying to get the last tier or one of the tiers at the very least, and he gets there before him.
Makes sense.
And there's this huge revival. Yeah.
But what if, like, you know, that line? What if he says that don't look away? You're looking at the revival of a king, is right? What if he's talking about demise? What if his whole journey is to bring back
that?
He's tired of doing it by himself over and over and over again. You know what? I'll bring the original, the OG. I'll bring the minds back here and try to rule everything. What if that's the?
I've been so torn on whether Demise is a part of it. Because there's that certain scene where like you see the back of him, and I was like, that's just Ganondorf with his hair down. And then or that's just the process of him regenerating himself. But like I had paused on one point, and like the way his arm was like forming into a thing, I was like, it does look like Demise. I don't know. I'm not saying he's a big part of it. But then I thought, well, what if it's the same actor doing both lines, you know, or both parts, just as a lot of the voice actors did multiple people? What if the line destroy everything in sight, whatever he says, what if that's Demise speaking, and then later that was Ganondorf? I don't have any concrete thoughts. It was just very much like, you know what? I don't know. I'm still leaning towards Ganondorf only, but I don't know. I'm open to either way because I'm sure it'll still be an epic game no matter which route is taken.
Yep.
All right. I posted a link in the the Discord chat for the Triforce trivia section that we're going to be doing. It's all based on Breath of the Wild. Some questions, I think mostly are easy, but some are a little bit more hard. I'll post it in the live chat for everyone who wants to join. This is Triforce Trivia on Kahoot. So you can go to kahoot.it. You can use your cell phone, a tablet, your computer. You don't have to log into anything. Just anything that has a screen, a shoe, a refrigerator, just whatever you have. And it'll be 10 questions, about 20 seconds each. And hopefully whoever wins will get congratulations. While we're waiting on everyone to join in, what kind of games has everyone been playing on this lead up to Tears of the Kingdom? Geek, do you want to start first? Have you been playing any games lately?
I've been playing Ocarina of Time, at least when I'm streaming, and I'm almost done with it. That's my favorite Zelda game at the current. Breath of the Wild is pretty close, and I have a feeling Tears of the Kingdom is just gonna wipe them all out, maybe. And then also when I can, still playing Animal Crossing on the side. It's very relaxing. But it's also at the point where I'm kind of getting bored with it. I'm like, all right, I need the next Animal Crossing. Not right now, because right now I need to focus on Tears of the Kingdom and moving into a new house. But that's what I've been doing.
All right. What about you, Mike? You been playing any games lately?
Yeah. To add to what you're saying, I don't think we're completely done with Animal Crossing. I think something is coming soon, for the other console with Animal Crossing related. So I don't think we're done with that. So yeah, I also play Animal Crossing. I love it. I just sit back and relax and well, I left my Switch in Boston, so I had to start my island again. But I've been playing Breath of the Wild on stream in master mode, right? I have to pat my back because I I try to challenge myself, right? I had 4 stars, not 4 stars, 4 hearts. Where did I get stars from? Mario. I had four hearts, and with those 4 hearts, I completed all the towers and got enough of the orbs to get the Master Sword. So just with the 4 hearts, I did not want to get any more heart containers. I wanted to challenge myself in master mode to get that. Once I got all those heart orbs and everything, then I went to the little goddess thingy and got all my hearts and containers. Then got the Master Sword and then continued out the thing. And then we finally defeated Calamity Ganon last night. And then I went to Calamity Ganon with about half of my hearts and no food. And the chat was going nuts. They're going crazy. They're like, what are you doing? Go get food. Go get ready. I'm like, no, I'm gonna do it. It took me about 4 tries, 5 tries, but I did it.
Nice.
So, I mean, it's fun. We just and then tonight we're starting the stream with Twilight Princess, which will be my first time playing it. Looking forward to it. I got my Wii U already hooked up. Got my gamepad here charging, and it's gonna be fun.
All right, Trins, have you been playing any games lately?
I have played so much Xenoblade, it is not even conceivable. I played about 50 hours of Xenoblade over the last week. It's crazy. So yeah, I played a lot of Xenoblade. Recently finished Persona 3 as well. I've actually really restrained myself and not played any Zelda, just because I want to be wild just that little bit more. just because it's like you play other games and suddenly you play Tears of the Kingdom. It's like, what is this? But like, I really, for a while, and I still am kinda, I've been like debating, do I go back to Breath of the Wild though? So I have Breath of the Wild's Hyrule in my mind so that I know what's changed. I'm like, that's stuff that can happen later on, whatever.
All right.
But yeah, that's me.
All right. Lorulian, have you been playing any games lately?
Not a whole lot, not as much in the last week or two. I was playing a lot of Breath of the Wild again. Playing Pokemon's... Which one? I have Violet. I was going to say Scarlet. My girlfriend has Scarlet. We sometimes play it together. A little bit of Animal Crossing here and there. I usually go on like every couple of weeks, see what's up, see what's new. You know, say hi to everybody, all the villagers that are on my island, and then pretty much forget about it for a couple of weeks, and then go back on. But yeah, I'm coming down to the last week of my current job right now, so I've been kind of more focused on that and trying to find new work. So not as much time for games, but I'm gonna have it probably a couple of weeks off between then and my next gig, so I'll be able to focus on Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm looking forward to that.
Going back to Animal Crossing, have you two tried playing it in hard mode?
Hard mode?
Yeah.
Hard mode?
Hard mode. So basically, hard mode is starting Animal Crossing in the winter. It's the most difficult thing ever because first thing, there are no fish. There's no fossils, you know, so you have to rely on that one bug that comes per day, somewhere like that little butterfly. It's hard mode. It'll take you longer, but every other character has different dialect. It's so hilarious. It's funny, you know. Even Tom Nook when he goes to the beginning. Sorry, like Zelda, but you know, it's just funny hard mode. So if you want to try something new, Animal Crossing, start it in the winter. Don't start it in the you know, and that's completely new experience.
I feel bad for saying this, but I think one of my favorite parts of Animal Crossing is the all the Tom Nook memes about like Tom Nook running a Ponzi scheme and everything.
Yeah, he is a crook. He's a crook. There's no doubting that.
Is he though? You can literally pay back your loans whenever with no interest.
He put that price way up there, like $3 million upgrade.
But I also wonder if that's more comparable to something like yen. Because sometimes I'll look at the price of something in Japan and I'm like, that's insane. I'm like, wait, translate that. Oh, never mind. Doesn't look as crazy. But I am hoping on a completely separate note, but also not completely separate. They said they're not adding anything else to the game, and I was still bummed we never got Zelda items when they were in all of the other ones. So I'm like, Tears of the Kingdom items?
That's
please?
true. That
would be cool. I would take it.
All right. So for Kahoot, especially people listening to the live stream and playing along instead of the people that are here on the live stream with me. Of course, they'll hear me in real time reading out the questions, but this may go for them as well. Don't wait for me to finish reading out the question and the answers. If you can read it before I get finished, please do, especially if you're watching live, because there's a little bit of a delay, even if it's 1 or 2 seconds. Yes, it's great if you get the answer correct, but you need to be the first one to have the answer correct. So if you're watching, because there's a delay, don't wait for me to read the questions or don't wait for it to pop up on the screen. Follow along on whatever device you're using. And there'll be 10 questions. We have Don Giro joined in. Someone just left. No, he came back in. Nudes, which I think is Noodles in the chat, Noodles 10,000. RKS, Natsu, Unknown, Spheromancer, Triforce Trends, Geek, 𝗙cie𝗹𝗹𝗪, Lorulian, and MikeOdyssey. So here we go. Good luck to everyone. Question
Everyone's
1.
gone very quiet.
Yeah.
Loading.
1 of 10. Thurito Tulin is the son of who? Rivali, Teba, Cass, Prince Kamali.
Good question.
Everyone got it. Teva, yes. Alright. Natsu came in first. 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪𝗃 second. MikeOdyssey third. Triforce Trends fourth. Geek fifth. Going to question number 2. How long was Link in the Shrine of Resurrection? 10,000 years, 1,000 years, 100 years, 10 years.
Oh my god, why did I put 10,000 years? Really?
Oh, jeez.
That's the other story. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? 10,000?
We had one
pretty
person
hard.
say 100 years, and 9 people chose 1,000, or no? Sorry, one person chose 10,000, 9 people chose.
I chose 10,000.
All right. Did it change?
Nuts.
Yes, Natsu still in first, 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪𝗃 second, Geek, you're in third, 𝗙cie𝗹𝗹𝗪 fourth, Triforce Trends fifth. Next
Actually, not
question.
too.
Breath of the Wild was released which year? 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019.
Tenth place. What the heck?
It looks like everyone guessed correctly, 2017.
Really, I was slow enough.
Nice.
Natsu still in first, Geek second,
Natsu.
𝗙cie𝗹𝗹𝗪 third, 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪𝗪 fourth, Lorulian fifth.
Oh.
4 of 10. Who was the DLC boss of Breath of the Wild? Calamity Ganon, Ganondorf, Maz Koshia, Master Koga.
Clicked the wrong one.
Oh, well,
When
tough.
that happened, you're like, I know what it is. I'm
Man.
just trying to be fat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly it. I thought I saw the name and I was like, yes, that one. Nope.
Oh,
I guessed.
Why did I just mess that up?
It's like, it's Maz Koshia. Clicked
I don't
on
know how to
Master
pronounce
Koga.
Natsu, you're in first, 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪𝗃 second, Geek, you dropped to third, Triforce Trends fourth, and 𝗙cie in fifth.
Natsu was cheating.
Nah.
The 𝗙cie𝗱𝗃 is found where in Breath of the Wild? Athena Tech Lab, Akala Tech Lab, Kakariko Village, and Lake Hylia. I think I misspelled Kakariko.
I took way too long on that.
Athena
Yeah.
Tech Lab. 7 people chose, 2 people chose Akala, 2 people chose Kakariko Village. Yeah.
Yeah, I was one of those 10 people.
𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪𝗃 is up first, Natsu second, Geek third, Triforce fourth, and RKS fifth. 6 of 10. The Master Sword is found where? Lost Woods, Temple of Time, Kokiri Forest, Korok Forest.
Ooh,
I
that's
made the
a
same
great
mistake
question.
you
That is
did,
such a
where
good
I thought I
question.
read it and clicked the wrong one.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, wait, no, I did click the right one.
3 people chose Lost Woods, 8 people
Yeah.
chose
I thought I
Korok
hit the wrong
Forest.
one.
I'm one of those lost in the lost woods looking for the sword. Not there.
Yeah, the thing that always comes to my mind is in A Link to the Past.
Yeah. I just feel like I'm
There's
like
like
that's what.
Yeah, there's like all the fake pedestals and stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
That's where I am.
Geek,
At least my number has one in it.
Geek's back in second, third, Triforce, fourth, RKS, fifth, Dongero. First, of course, is 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪𝗃 still. Next question. 7 of 10. Hylian Shield can be purchased where in Breath of the Wild? Tarrey Town, Kakariko Village, Hyrule Castle, Goron City. Where can it be purchased?
Purchased? Oh, dang it.
Wow.
Okay, I was right.
7 chose Tarrey Town. What
I
was it?
get, but there's another place that can be purchased. There's like this big tree and this guy selling all these shields.
I haven't come across that yet. That's interesting.
Yeah, there's like a huge tree and a guy selling a whole bunch of really old shields there. He has Hylian shields. He has all types of shields there. And you can buy
Nice.
from him too. But he
Is it
overpriced them.
Is it a Hylian shield, though? I've seen, like,
Yeah, it's the
a knight shield.
Yeah, it's when you've I think it's when you've broken it, you can go and purchase it off him. I think.
Really?
Interesting.
So I know, like in Tarrey Town, you can get stuff after you've already
Yeah.
gotten the item the first
Yeah.
time.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. 8 people chose
I'll
Tarrey
have to keep
Town.
an eye out for that.
3 chose Hyrule Castle. Of course, you can find the castle in the dungeons
Find it
beneath
there,
it.
yeah.
Yes, you can find it there, but you can't purchase it there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought maybe the question was worded incorrectly.
I mean, it does come at a high cost if you go into that castle. You know, you got
Very true.
Yeah. You can kind of sneak around to the back and then go in that way. It's a little bit easier, but still, you don't want to get, especially if you first start the game on master mode and you just try to get a Hylian shield off the bat, you're not going to do too well. 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪𝗓, first Geek, second Trends, third RKS, fourth Natsu, fifth. Next question, 8 of 10. Link's house is found where? Great Plateau, Hateno, Akkala, Kakariko.
I know this one because I purchased it and I'm proud of it. You know, it's
Wow, everyone
Nice
got it
house.
right. Hateno, yes.
Hateno.
I was in the middle.
Yes. Sorry, what were you saying?
Who, me?
Yeah, I thought you were saying something, Mike.
Oh no, I was saying I was in the middle of collecting my weapons in the house and everything,
Oh, yeah.
and I forgot to buy a bed.
My biggest hope is, or at least was, we're a little too close to release for Nintendo to announce it now, but if you have your save file from Breath of the Wild, then any items that you put up in your house, then when you start on Tears of the Kingdom, you can go back to your house and just re-pick up those items.
And fuse them all together.
Yeah. That would... I want to fuse together an
Use
ice
the
and a fire
Master Sword
weapon.
and the Hylian Shield.
I keep saying it. I want to fuse 2 horses together with those propellers in the back and some type of cannon in the back area. So you know when I'm flying, you know I can shoot back. You know, and then these 2 horses are just there. Yeah,
That is genius.
I'm gonna do it. I'll find a way.
9 of 10. The Zonai ruins are found where? Faron Woods, Hyrule Kingdom, Akkala, Great Hyrule Forest.
I hesitated.
11
I was right.
chose Faron Woods.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Nice.
I mean, there's ruins of Zonai structures everywhere, but the actual place, Zonai ruins.
Yes.
I'm glad
Yes,
everyone
it
got
was-
that right.
It was Zonai Ruins with a capital R.
All right. RKS moved up to 3rd. Triforce is down to 4th. Natsu 5th. Geek still 2nd. 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪𝗓 1st. I think this is the best you've done, Geek.
It is.
How
Don't
is
ruin it. Oh, it's the 10th
10 of
question.
10, which is not a name of a dragon in Breath of the Wild. Dinral, Nadra, Farosh, Lineru.
That
How is it-
threw me off.
Which is
I
not
was like, those are all
a name of a
names. Wait.
dragon. Yeah, I think they're all dragons.
Yeah.
Lineru.
Hold up. I thought I was last, but no. I'm in 11th position. I thought 10th was actually last. I actually found the lower position there. That's good. Never give up.
All right.
Never
Third
surrender.
place, RKS. 2nd, Geek. And 1st,
Woo.
like we don't know who it is.
Congrats.
𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪𝗓.
Who won?
𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪𝗓, someone from the live chat.
They cheated. I saw them.
Cheer.
I saw them. I was there.
GG.
Nah, BG,
Yay.
BG. Fuck him.
Not you also cheated. Okay, make you push it.
All right, congrats everyone. That was pretty cool. I'm glad Geek did as well as she did. Usually the
I
questions,
actually knew them.
yeah.
Mm.
All right, so
They're usually very nuanced questions, and I'm like, I don't know.
yeah, they are. Whenever I first started it, it was really hard because it would be like, why did it jump off again? Okay, the questions I used to do is it would be like, what is the 4th dungeon item in the Zelda game that released in 2006 or something like that?
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So then you'd have to be like, okay, well that's Twilight Princess, and then the 3rd dungeon's this, and then the item's this.
Yeah.
So
Jeez.
By the time you figured out what it might have been, you ran out of time.
yeah, and then there's like how many keys can you find in the Fire Temple of Ocarina of Time?
That was the worst one.
Yeah.
Oh
You
my
know what's
God.
bad when Capt Bergerson is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He says, I don't know. You're like, well, I'm out.
All right, so I guess we can start with the questions from the live chat. If anyone has any, please feel free to post them, and we'll answer them. And we have a few from Discord here. Keeper of Light says, I have two interesting questions for you to discuss. It's funny that in Tears of the Kingdom you start on the Sky Islands, but the story starts underground. How do you think you get to heaven? I think it means like Sacred Realm. Does Link get teleported or the place in the sky? Guess I think it has something to do with that round platform you've seen a lot. And then second question, do you think there will be chapters or sections in the new Zelda? Because in the scene with Zelda, you see Link taking the Master Sword in Korok Forest. Later, however, the forest is gone. What do you think about this? Love and hype. And then he has 2 images posted of his green arm. And yeah. So, why does it keep cutting off the thing? I hate that.
YouTube does not want to see our faces.
Yeah. I've got to read the questions and it cuts it off. All right. But yeah. I guess starting with you, Triforce Trends. What do you think about starting out in the sky instead of on the ground or underground? Since it seemed we will be starting underground, or at least that was everyone's first thought when we'd seen the initial trailers. But yeah, starting out in the sky, which we kind of someone super chatted earlier, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. But what are your overall thoughts?
My thought is I like that a lot. I think Link does have to wake up. that has to be a thing. Link does have to wake up, but I still have no clue what that's going to play out like. And like I think was it maybe LinCube on Twitter who had like the theory out that like he wakes up on the dragon that's up there.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. He's very dragon centric, but
right.
But yeah, that the whole how you get there and everything, I have no clue, to be honest. But there's definitely next to the green swirly shrine looking things, there's definitely like almost like shrine looking sections. If you know what I mean, like if you go and look at those sections, like right next to a shrine, there'll be like, you know, buildings that are like really vertically up, and it's like, okay, so that's where you probably get ascend then, because there's a lot of like vertical stuff there. It makes sense. I think they'll probably do that for each one, but I don't know whether that's going to be their own separate shrine thing or whether it's just going to be out in the overworld. I like the fact that just putting some abilities there. For the longest time, I really thought that upside down pyramid looking thing was a dungeon, and it isn't, and I don't mind it. I'm completely fine with it not being. But yeah, that's it for me.
Lorulian, your thoughts on that?
Yes, my thoughts. So I think it's possible that we might be getting a cinematic cutscene at the beginning, maybe highlighting their journey towards Ganondorf's body. And then all hell breaks loose, and then Link wakes up in the sky and is just like, how did I get here? Mm-hmm. Where am I going? What's happening? Why can't I remember what just happened? And then maybe it kind of comes to him as he's traveling around, and he speaks with I'm assuming whoever would be standing or is chilling in that structure there, because it seems important. It seems like you have to do what you need to do around those sky islands, the tutorial area, and make your way into that structure. Maybe you learn a little bit about what just happened and what your role is, and then it thrusts you into the unknown Hyrule of Tears of the Kingdom. That's my thoughts.
All right,
as of now.
You, Mike?
I agree with what just said.
All right, Geek.
Sorry, you have to repeat the question. I had to get water.
What are your thoughts on starting in the sky instead of underground, like everyone originally thought?
Not many. It just definitely makes me really curious about what the opening is going to be. I think, was it the last stream actually that we talked about, like, oh, we've never really had an opening cutscene. It's always been Link wakes up, which I definitely heard, like, I still had this on when I was walking about. He does need to wake up, I agree, in some capacity. I just wonder if it's going to be different. But yeah, it just makes me curious, like, are we going to see, like, this decently lengthy cutscene, and it's going to show us, like, something that happens, but we still won't know exactly how Link ends up in the sky. Hopefully 100 years have not passed this time. I don't think it has, obviously, because we see a lot of characters we know. But yeah, it adds more curiosity than anything like, oh, okay, interesting. How do we just suddenly start in the sky? Because I don't want there to be a ton of memory cutscenes anymore. So
yeah. Hopefully that's the thing in the past. Hopefully, no more memories. Please no.
We have a question from Patreon supporter Shadow to Us. Says, "What do you think it is with the red fan out, or who do you think it is with the red fan out hair in the trailer?" I think it's that scene that everyone thinks is Demise, and then the other half thinks is still Ganondorf. Do you think Demise might play a role in this game, or do you think that could be Demise, or do you think it's just Ganondorf from behind?
I think it's Ganondorf.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, technically, Demise plays a role in every Zelda game. When you understand Skyward Sword, his hatred lives on. So
there are a lot of
but
there are
also
so many. Yeah,
there
go on.
also remains inside the Master Sword remains, like maybe Master Sword breaks. A little bit of those remains.
Terrifying.
A little bit of those remains just come out, and then all of a sudden throughout the entire game, that just is building up and building up and building up, and we see it, that little hair just pop out like that, and then you hear that voice saying, "Don't look away. You're witnessing the rebirth of the King of Kings, or the Heir of Hairs, something like that."
All right.
That's just an assumption. I'm not, just me thinking out loud.
Then we could get Fi back in some capacity. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
We have Zenzurin with the super chat for $2 saying, "Imagine if the Yiga clan had Mad Max type vehicles. We know Link can fuse stuff together. Do you think the Yiga will be able to fuse their own thing or create their own vehicles to chase you down?"
I would really like that. I also think it's kind of interesting, like bokoblins have backpacks and stuff like that, where they carry items. That's kind of interesting to me. But I don't know if they'll actually play into the game at all, or if it'll just be like, look, you can kill this guy and it gives you some cooler stuff. I think it might just be that.
Yeah.
All right. If anyone sees a question from the live chat that they would like to answer, feel free. There's a few of them in there that I've seen.
Spheromancer asked a question in Mailbag.
All right.
So what do you guys think the swirl in this photo is? A giant whirlpool, or could it be a water spout?
Oh, it's like a swirly cloud.
Yeah, it's a swirl inside of Lake Hylia that we saw in one of the parts of the trailer. I believe it was the trailer. It could have been some of the info from the Japanese website.
Yeah, I think it was the Japanese stuff.
Yeah, they have some scenes there. Yeah, so it's a good question because it definitely looks like something. It does kind of look like some sort of whirlpool.
Bro, it's big. It's the size of the lake, the island on Lake Hylia as well.
Just about, yeah. It's at least half the size of the island there.
Giant enemy or whirlpool to an underwater dungeon.
Underwater dungeon.
Lake Bed Temple 2.
Yes.
I would know.
Yeah, he wouldn't know.
All right.
You'll do Lake Bed Temple soon.
I got another question here from Jessica. Says, what do you think about the eye symbol we see on Link's shield? That is the same eye that is on the time shift stones from Skyward Sword.
It is really similar. That's for sure. I wouldn't say it's exactly the same, but it is definitely quite similar.
I predict we're going to see all links from every single Zelda game come together at the end and just fight an epic battle against every single Ganon that we've seen in every single Ganon.
That's
the Legend of Zelda Endgame.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and this will be like the end of the entire series, and then like the next game we'll try to figure out who the villain will be.
Oh, jeez.
It is interesting to think about the similarity between those two symbols, though, because I personally think our I'm blanking on their names, but the little robots that mine in Skyward Sword are similar-ish to the constructs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say floating. I can't remember whose video it was where they pointed out they're not floating; they're on a rolly thingy, and I was like, I never noticed that.
Yes.
But they do kind of bear some resemblance, the whole robots thing. But
Yeah. And I had a thread on my Twitter account where I talk about some of the similarities between the Lanayru civilization, as I like to call it, and the ZOEY. And not everyone is aware of it, but there's actually like a ZOEY swirl all over the sand ship and all over Skipper's retreat. So they've got the ZOEY swirl. They've got little robots that tend and take care of an area. They've got the eye symbol. They have advanced technology that is extremely ancient. You know, it's all
It's all connected.
it's all connected. It's all coming together.
Yeah, I always get confused whenever I think of the ZOEY because it's like we see those patterns or those symbols throughout a bunch of Zelda games in like different places. A lot of people like to make connections to like the Twilight Race or past Sheikah or just random spots in random other Zelda games, and it's just like can't be connected to like every single one. Like surely whenever they were putting this symbol in like Minish Cap or something, they weren't thinking about ZOEY or whatever. But every Zelda game kind of has their own mysterious race that disappeared a long time ago and was like dark and magical and whatever. But this seems like the only time that Nintendo's actually gone and tried to put like base at least part of the story around them or make them a large portion of the game. Because
I mean, I definitely agree. I mean, you know, especially because Skyward Sword, they just went, oh yeah, let's go and make a start for the timeline. And now that we're at the very end, it's apparently we're at the very end. It's kind of weird that like this is the route they've gone, and it seems like the ZOEY were gonna play a bigger role in Breath of the Wild initially in development as well. So I do wonder sometimes whether it's like the ZOEY were like this was the story we were supposed to get in Breath of the Wild alongside the memories, but then they just went, we could just do a sequel though. When they were sort of sorting out DLC, and they just went, well, that's a better idea. We'll do that.
Yeah. I think it's funny how like if you have the Creating a Champion book, or in Japan it's Masterworks, I think it talks about like whenever it comes to the section of like developer notes about the ZOEY, it's like, oh, we just wanted an ancient race to put random stuff throughout Hyrule to just kind of make it seem like it was lived in, and like there's a past and history to Hyrule with this ancient race. And then like even their name's supposed to be in like secret or mysterious or whatever in Japanese, and it's like that.
You put you put something random in there, the fans will bring it to life. They'll start investigating and try to, come up with, and make it real at the end, So if they started, oh, we'll just put a random civilization just to have something. Well, guess the fans will make it real, and you're gonna have to do it. That's what happened. That's what's happening.
Does anyone else
I love how we all seem to try. Maybe not everyone, but a lot of us tried to deny the moment we started learning about Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild 2, as it was known. There was a lot of like, oh, this is ZOEY, and then going into, no, I am sick of hearing about the ZOEY. There is no way it's the ZOEY. Stop talking about the ZOEY. It became a joke. And then it was like, okay, but it's kind of seeming more. And then the moment we all saw ZOEY charge, we're all like, okay, well, never mind. It's the ZOEY.
I was always on board with it. I was like, yes, ZOEY. I'm a ZOEY enthusiast, a ZOEY fanatic. Yeah. So I was getting into arguments with people that were denying it. I'm like, but it's literally right there. That's a ZOEY ruin.
It's one of those, is the simplest explanation the correct explanation? And I know I was trying to complicate it, going, no, they're being deceptive, and then realizing, well, Nintendo always puts gameplay first, so why wouldn't they take the easiest route? Although, because we have 𝗵𝗃𝗏𝗏 doing this one, Breath of the Wild, and did Skyward Sword, he's definitely been much more gung-ho about the lore aspect of it, which I really appreciate, because, again, I highly respect the fact that Zelda creators like gameplay first. Let's get good gameplay and then we'll make a good story afterwards. And now they're kind of like, well, everyone seems to really, really like the story element. So now they're kind of pushing it more without sacrificing the gameplay. And
yeah,
I love that. I love that.
absolutely.
Also helps because a lot of us make videos and make at least a tiny bit of money off of discussing that information. So thank you,
wish.
Nintendo.
Yeah. With, sorry, was someone saying something? Did I
No,
interrupt someone?
this is it. It's where it all ends. All chips are in. No way to go back now.
Yeah.
It'll be epic. And I think we thought, I mean, Breath of the Wild was epic. But you know, like that final trailer for Breath of the Wild was very like, oh my gosh, this is the end of everything. And then hearing about the sequel is like, they can't top that. Nope, they're gonna top that. Okay.
Yeah, Endgame Part 2.
Nintendo just said, hold my beer.
What was the first Avengers? Not the first last Avengers.
Infinity War. Yeah.
Infinity War.
And so Infinity War, Breath of the Wild, Endgame.
Stones and everything.
Yeah.
You guys can look for another question in the live chat, but while we do that, the question I have for everyone is, what do you think is next for the Zelda series? Because in the past few years, we've seen like Nintendo has like Tantalus that worked on Twilight Princess and then Skyward Sword. They have Grezzo that works on like Link's Awakening, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time 3D, those games. We don't know what Grezzo's been working on in the past few years. We don't know what Tantalus has really been working on since Skyward Sword. They, in some interviews, they still claim that they have a 2D Zelda team, unless they pulled them onto Tears of the Kingdom sometime after that. They have the team at Koei Tecmo that worked on like Hyrule Warriors and everything. So, yeah, what do you think's next for them after this Tears of the Kingdom? Do you think we'll get another 2D game, another remake, something new entirely, like an original Zelda game?
Like after Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah, after Tears of the Kingdom, what do you think is next?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a remake. They're gonna bring one of the games back from the past to the present. I hope it's a 2D top down old fashioned type of Zelda game. You know, there's a lot of them out there. I heard of but now with Nintendo Switch Online being a thing, they could bring even more games to Nintendo Switch Online. So you know, that's one possibility of them coming back. When it comes to remakes, Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, they need to make that game in like the Link's Awakening treatment, because I mean, that's what I want to see. And I feel like it's they could do it. They have I heard there's rumblings out there, not that I heard from any source that I have, but rumors out there that those are the two games that apparently they're working on to bring to, you know, remakes. But I hope it's true. But they're definitely working on something. It's not gonna the next main Zelda game like Tears of the Kingdom, but it has to be a 2D top down Zelda game.
All right. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that?
I'm pretty much echoing that entire thing. I definitely think the Oracle games need it the most. Like, if I look at every single Zelda game just down the timeline, it's like Link's Awakening and Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Those are the ones that are like they weren't that great looking. They could do with the spruce up. You know, Minish Cap, it looks amazing in its own right. It doesn't need it yet. Maybe one day we'll want it, but at the minute we don't. I mean, we want it, but we don't need it.
Yeah.
The Oracle games, though, they deserve it because they're so good, but people sleep on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Laurel, you posted a question in the chat that you seen.
Yeah. So I had seen a question. It was addressed to Game Over Jesse. With us knowing Gleeok is back, do y'all think that ice thing that Tulin and Link are starting to fight could be a new version of Goma?
Yeah.
And that came from, let me see here, I go back. Natsu. Came from Natsu.
I think it is, because when you think Goma, usually you think like giant spider, like Queen Goma in Ocarina of Time, or Armagoma in Twilight Princess. But in Wind Waker, we had a new take or a new concept of Goma.
Yep.
And,
it was a different type of arachnid.
Yeah,
essentially.
and this kind of looks kind of like the same thing, just like because it has the same head shape and pincers on the mouth and everything. It just now it's flying in icy clouds instead of in lava or in a tree or whatever.
That's true. And I mean, Goma has always just been some sort of large arthropod. So sometimes they've had crab-like structure. Sometimes they've had spider. Sometimes they've had millipede. You know, anything that has an outer shell with a lot of legs and eyes and sharp pincers.
Yeah,
it's meant to be creepy.
I think they definitely heard our cries for, hey, these enemies were cool and all. We're glad that they got stronger throughout the game, but we need more variety. And they're like, remember those enemies that we put in that game that was rated E, but definitely wasn't rated E for everyone? You know, our first 3D Zelda game that traumatized several children? Let's bring those back. Redeads, arachnids. Thanks.
That thing at the bottom of the well that I can't remember the name of. Dead Hand.
Dead Hand. I swear, if Dead Hand returns, I will cry. I'm a grown adult. I am almost to my 30s, and I cry trying to defeat Dead Hand.
Yeah, I can just see someone just like dropping their Switch into the trash can and be like, okay, I'm done. I wonder what a new version of Dead Hand or like a reimagined Dead Hand could look like. It's creepy.
Scary.
Especially if it comes up in that the area to the north of Hyrule, to where like it's all shadowy and dark. It has like those black clouds everywhere that you have to take the torch or that
Typhlo.
Typhlo.
Oh,
ruins.
that's a good idea.
Like if
but
Dead Hand
Typhlo's
was in
not
there,
dark anymore.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, like that would have been a perfect place for it. Like you're wandering around, and all of a sudden hands start popping out.
Yeah.
That
I will legit cry, but it'll make for a good reaction video.
oh yeah.
I wonder if we'll see more, because both of those bosses are from the first Zelda game, aren't they? Goma and yeah. I wonder if they're going to be having different takes on all of the bosses from the first game. Like I think that would be an interesting idea.
I would love that. Aqua
that was part of their inspiration.
Yeah. I also want to see Iron Knuckles return, but
I do.
Does anyone
if
have?
we get Iron Knuckles, I want some bomb chews because those saved my butt in Ocarina of Time. They did. Bomb chews are so useful against Iron Knuckles.
Does anyone see any other questions in the chat? We can, if someone can pick out our final question, and then we'll go back around, reintroduce everyone that are watching now, for those who are watching now, and we'll get out.
Yo, guys, make some better questions. Come on.
Make some better questions.
Honestly, questions. I just see it's like opinions. That's it.
Yeah, I see a lot of opinions. I don't see a lot of questions in the live chat, and nothing new.
All right. Well, do any of you have a question that you would like to get everyone's thoughts on?
Oh, I do. Everybody seen the Japan advert?
I have not, sadly.
I've seen them.
Yeah, the one that showed like Fire Gleeok, knowing there's going to be other elemental versions.
Not even that one. The one that came out, was it today or was it yesterday? I can't remember. Whatever. It's the one with the heroines.
Yes.
That one.
Yeah. Okay. So
you talk.
Yeah. So the 7 heroine statues in East Gerudo Ruins.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene in this new advert where there's only 4 of them standing, and a bunch of them are missing. There's a sword in a hole, like a sinkhole in the middle, and they're all leaning inward, like something big happened underneath there. Yeah. So
is there a link to this? Like, is it just up on YouTube?
Yeah.
It's not even like a leak or anything. It's literally
it's just an advertisement in Japan. So there was a 3 different ones that came out. 2 of them, nothing new in them. It was just general, about 30 seconds. And then this one, which is about 30 seconds itself, but half of it is all new content, and it's unreal. So I'll post a link there. I just gotta pull it up. Just gotta pull it up. It's so good.
Oh,
let's see here.
All these things that we all speculated and theorized about that they're now pulling out, being like, oh, we have answers for those now, or at least we're going to use them in some way. Oh, that's so exciting.
I got it here. Share. Copy. I'm going to post it in the live chat, and we'll put it in our chat as well.
Yes.
All I can say is that I better hear 𝗙𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗃 say Game of the Year.
Game of the century. Game of the century.
The Sax guy is going to go so hard.
Yeah.
It already won most anticipated Game of the Year, didn't it?
It did.
It did.
Without that much promotion, we made it the most anticipated game. Just talking about it.
Yeah. That is funny. You're right, because everyone kept saying that we're not getting enough promotion for it, and it's like, and yet it's still won most anticipated.
And I have it playing for everyone that's watching the live stream, which will probably get everything demonetized, but whatever.
Well, not if it's not a leak. The other one was a leak, and I know that was a huge issue.
Oh yeah, I accidentally used a clip from it.
Was that the? No, that wasn't the right one. Hang on.
So I downloaded it and put it into my B-roll, right? I use B-roll to talk about stuff. And I showed a little clip, and then I got that video shut down by Nintendo. Like, everything, this one strike.
Hang on.
Yeah, right there.
Hang on.
I think after that big art book leak, they were like, nah, we aren't doing this again.
This one here that I just posted. Try that one.
Okay.
Because this one's new. Like I said, they had 3 of them that they just posted at the same time.
That's crazy.
So.
Okay. Rocket. Used. Bubble.
Is it?
Okay.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. Starts with the Sky Islands.
I like it being way zoomed out when he's playing the
Zelda.
Oh yeah, there it was.
Ooh, jumps off the thingy because I'm watching via the live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
I like how the camera's way zoomed out and it shows Link jumping off of the glider thing.
Off the glider.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, pretty cool. One of the other green geoglyphs on that beach there as well, right at the end, and a couple shots of Zelda, slightly different than what we've seen before. So you can actually see the Master Sword in her hands is in its damaged state. People were speculating that it was whole, that she was either repairing it or like she's in the past and has it. Well, if she's in the past with it, it's broken still. It's already been damaged. The damage is already done. So, really, really interesting story implications there. But yeah.
All right. Sadly, I think that'll be it. We had about 90 minutes of the podcast. I thank you all for coming on, going around again. Mike, would you like to start? Let everyone know who you are and what kind of content they can find on your channel.
Hello, my name is MikeOdyssey. I am on YouTube. I am a Nintendo YouTuber. I'm not knowledgeable on anything. I just like games. And you can find me Monday through Friday. I do Odyssey News. On weekends, I do products and reviews. And we're starting up the 𝗙𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃 podcast, season 2. First season was all about voice actors. Harry McIntyre was on there. The entire cast of Mario was on there. So you can watch it now if you want to catch up. Second season will be, of course, we have a crew now, but we'll also have voice actors. Like right now, we're talking to the voice of Ganon. I spoke to the let me get his full name because I don't want to.
Matt Mercer.
Matt Mercer.
Yeah. So we're talking to his agent to have him on a podcast. Voice actors are going to be at the end of the month. This time, instead of being all, like before, we're having that. I'm on the way to 40,000 subscribers. If you guys know, I'm legally blind, losing my sight, doctor says there's no way I can regain it. So I want to go full time before I do. And yeah, just here to make content, inspire people, and have a good time.
I didn't know that about you going blind.
Yeah, I became legally blind when I was in my teenage, in my teens. I have this disease called keratoconus. It was curable back then, not now in my age, because it's purely advanced. I already had 2 cornea transplants, and that's basically the last thing you can do, and just keep progressing. So, still looking at doctors, still looking at what we can do, but apparently, year to 2 years is basically what I have left. As I'm losing my sight little by little. I first got my cornea transplant just to look at my daughter being born, and thank God I saw her being born. She's 13 now, and yeah, I mean, I just live to inspire and to try to be a good role model in my channel. And if you like to hear little messages of inspiration every now and then you know I do that on my live streams and wherever I have the chance to. So yeah.
Dang.
Well,
Good job, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I hate to hear that, but
hey, I'm never giving I'm never giving something I can't carry on my own. So if I was chosen for it, I was chosen for a reason, and I'm using good enough for bad. I'm not really dwelling on what I can't do, but what I can do with what I have. So,
Amen.
You know? Yeah.
all right,
Good outlook, man.
Lorulian, what kind of stuff can people expect from you coming up? Do you have? I know you post a ton of lore stuff on your Twitter and various Discords and stuff. But is there any place that you would recommend people going to check out some stuff from you, or what they can expect?
So my Twitter at @TGLMudora. So TGLMUD. Mudora, ORA. I was like, there's an A in there somewhere.
And I'll have links to everyone's Twitter or YouTube channel and everything in the description after it ends.
But yeah, it's I'm fairly active there. Of course, like Jesse said, I'm on Discord. I'm on a lot of servers. So if there's a Zelda server out there, chances are I'm on it. I have Instagram and Facebook as well, also TGLMudora. I'm semi-active there. Hoping to get my YouTube channel, TGLMudora, back up and running, especially with Tears of the Kingdom coming out. That would be nice. Maybe do some live stream and some theory topics with that. But yeah, check me out on Twitter. Send me a DM, if you want to chat lore, or if you have any questions about translations, let me know.
All right, and we have Triforce Trends, who also, along with Mike, first time being on the channel. So where can people check out some stuff from you if they liked what they heard today on the podcast? And what kind of content can they expect to watch on your channel?
Well, I will say that my Twitter isn't quite as revolutionary as LorulianHistorian's, but instead I will just randomly post about stuff that I want to post about, and sometimes have a little rant. But apart from that, obviously the YouTube. In the past, I only joined the whole YouTube scene in 2019 to 2020, so I'm known more for speculation content, but I really want to move into the whole theory side of it in the next few months, obviously. Which is why I've started moving into that right about now, the last month or so, which has been a lot of fun. So yeah, more theory stuff, some amount of speculation for the next month. That's about it. I want to do big video essays at some point, but I don't know when I'm going to do it.
I love big video essays. Just like putting on a 50-minute video while I'm doing dishes or chores or something.
I love those.
Yeah. Geek, I know most people here probably have no idea who you are, but yeah. So for all of them, where could they find you, and what kind of videos could they expect to find?
I'm the Geek Apprentice. I'm here on YouTube. I make lots of nerdy videos, usually Zelda or Animal Crossing related. one month of the year, November, I do specifically Hunger Games content, especially this year because the prequel film is coming out. So look forward to that. So excited, but nervous at the same time. I don't want them to ruin the book. But I do a lot of ranking videos, usually about music, because I'm obsessed with the music of video games, especially The Legend of Zelda. And discussions. I'm also more in the area of speculation. I just don't trust my own. Like, I'm the type of person that'll come up with a theory and people will find like 12 holes in it. And I'm like, why am I doing this? But sometimes it's still fun to do anyway. I do have Instagram and Twitter. Instagram is just at the Geek Apprentice. Sometimes I'll do random story Q&As if I'm trying to like do housework or something. But those are both usually promotional purposes, which I realize my Twitter, I'm not following like anyone. And that's probably because I never use it except to be like, hey, I'm live. And that's it. So we'll probably get to actually following people for once. Yeah, I have, someone mentioned that Mike has family friendly content. And I was like, I love that because I am also extremely family friendly. So it's always nice. I've definitely gotten comments that are like, I can watch you with my children in the room. And I'm like, yes, that's part of the goal. Completely PG. I'm a dance teacher. So I'm used to always keeping things tempered because I'm a tempered person anyway, but because children are funny. I have a filter. They do not. And it's hilarious. But yeah, that's me. I also do reaction videos. They're not many. My mom's always says, and my mom she doesn't have her own YouTube channel, but like she has like a handle and I keep telling her she needs to do it because she's hilarious. But she's always like, make a ton of reaction videos. I was like, then they won't be genuine. They just won't because I think all in all, I had one reaction video where I cried, and that was learning about Tears of the Kingdom for the first time. And then this last one, I screamed what I saw Ganondorf. So I don't do many of those, but when I do, they're genuine, I promise.
All right. Well, I'm GameOverJesse. Obviously, everyone knows what they can find on this channel. Zelda theories, top 10s, the podcast. And I'll have links for everyone's Twitter or YouTube channels in the description below after the podcast ends in a moment. And I want to say thank you for Triforce Trends, MikeOdyssey, and LorulianHistorian joining the Geek Apprentice and I on the Hylian Gamescast. It was really great to have you all on, and especially you, Lorulian, since you didn't have such a great time last time with the internet cutting out every 13 minutes.
It was a lot of fun, honestly. Even IT issues aside, it was a lot of fun.
Wait, was Andre on? Was Andre on, Andres?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was the one.
Yes, he was.
That's why. That's what having.
Yeah, we had to bring Andres on, I think, 3 times in a row, and then the third time, everything worked. So, although that time it was a little bit confusing because we had Andre from Game Explain as well as Andres. So we had to emphasize the S at the end on who we were talking to. Andres. Yeah. So, thank you all for joining. Thank you, everyone who came out and watched. I said came out and watched like we're doing it live. No, thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.